Hi everyone, my name is Taher and I'm a senior neurological physiotherapist. I've been working as a physiotherapist since 11 years, and in my past experience, I've worked in NHS for a few years, and since last 3 years, I have been working at PhysioFunction, which is a private clinic based in Northampton. I've always been curious about technology and exercises and to see how they work together. Obviously, when I was working in NHS, I did not get to use much of that. Hence, when I came to PhysioFunction, I wanted to work a lot within that field, along with the hands-on therapy um, and exercises. So I have been working with a lot of technological devices here and equipments involving virtual reality, exoskeletons, and even um, FES, functional electrical stimulation. In the last few months, due to the pandemic, I think this experience has really worked well for me as well as my patients. Um, in terms of virtual reality, some of my patients who I have been seeing for a long time, they were using some of these technological devices in the clinic. But when the pandemic started and I was unable to see them, we managed to get these something called as virtual reality equipments to them in their home environment, and they started to use that. So I'm going to talk a little bit about that today, and just some of my experience using these devices and how I felt it helped my patients, but also talk about how my patient felt and their feedback on using these devices. So in particular, I'll be talking about my Motion Go, which is a virtual reality device, and we'll talk about that next. And then I'll also talk about something called as a Neuroball from Neurofenix, which we've started using since last few months, and how that has helped some of our patients. So earlier, I was talking about virtual reality devices, and one of the virtual reality device I worked with in last 3 years is my Motion Go. Now, My Motion Go is a device which was predominantly built for patients with neurological problems, and the exercises and the games which are in the software are designed keeping patients with stroke and other neurological problems in mind. And it helps you to work on upper limb movements, lower limb movements, and even do a bit of hand therapy. It also helps patients who have got problems with balance, coordination, core stability, as well as problems with their walking to work on those activities by using the games which were specifically designed for these patients. Um, Now, once I feel that one of my patients will benefit from using this device, I just assess them for for what will be the benefits of using this particular device and consider patient's goals, what patient wants to achieve from using it, and what do the patients think about using that. Now, from my experience, I have found that many of my patients find it quite motivating to use that, and I tend to use this as an adjunct to the therapy which they're already having with us, which means they're already working on some kind of exercises as well as some hands-on therapy. But this as a um, acts as something to do from alongside with it, so that they keep motivated, and doing something like this virtual reality is quite interesting. It's quite fun for some of my patients, and also sometimes they feel, if some people do feel quite low in mood, this can help with that because it's quite fun and it's really quite interesting. And sometimes people don't realize when they are using these activities what movements they are doing, how it's benefiting them. So that kind of, they don't think this as an exercise in particular. So it's quite helpful. Now, once we have assessed them and their needs, then we create a exercise program for them on that device, and considering certain factors like how many times a week they will be using this, how long will they be using this in one session, and such questions, and what kind of exercises they'll be doing by using this. So all these factors are considered to create a program um, for on My Motion Go. And then once that program is created, we also think about how the patients can use this. So there are certain options which patient can choose. One of the option is patient can either come to the clinic and use this as part of their therapy, and with a therapist, or patient normally can come to a clinic and use this independently, because once the program is created, for some patients they don't need the therapist to be present. For those patients, they can just come to the clinic, use it by themselves independently. We show them how to use it, and they've got the option of using it independently. If the patient doesn't want that, and the amounts of times they want to use this in the week, if they want to use it more times in the week, then there is an option of having this particular device in their home environment. And the benefits of that are that patient can do this independently by themselves without the therapist. They can even do that with the therapist present remotely if there are any problems happening, or they can even use it with the therapist present in their home if we need to consider into progression. And once we have determined the option, obviously many of my patients try to use it in the clinic first to see if they're going to like it, if this is something what they want at home. And once that's determined, then probably home option is recommended, or is advised, and depending on if patient wants it. Once that is determined and patient is doing these exercises, there are options to progress these exercises as well. So just for an example, I've had a chap who, during the pandemic, started to use this device. And initially, when he started to use the device, he obviously there were problems with balance, there was problem with mobility, and there were problems with confidence. So we started doing the exercises, created a plan in a way that patient will do them in sitting. So they were sitting in a chair and doing these exercises. Did that for a few weeks, and after 4 to 6 weeks, their their confidence increased, their balance got increased, and we came to a point where we felt like we need to do some exercises in standing, but also do some exercises in sitting. So another program was created, and then after another few weeks, at after 3 months or even like 2.5, 3 months of using that device, patients started using whole of the therapy session in standing, which was a really great progression just in last few weeks, in the few weeks of using this, and patients' confidence increase, and that also helps them to improve their confidence in the community when they started going out. And now patient has gone out because you know the lockdown has been lifted and people are going out. So the amounts of some people have felt, some of my patients, that during this lockdown period they have deteriorated. But when you use when you do exercises, regular exercises, when you do these activities, something what you really need to do, like balance work, or working on your confidence or working on your core stability, then it it helps you improve in the community. So that's something what my patient has found that. Also, another example is that not just for the physical need or physical aspect of using this virtual reality, but also the cognitive aspect. And as I said earlier, it helps you to motivate, and it helps to improve their cognitive abilities of using this. So I'm just going to play you a video of one of my patients talking about how Mind Motion Go has helped her in the last few months. She has been using it for last 1.5 year, or probably slightly more than that. Um, and initially, one whole year, she used that in the clinic. And since start of this year, she has been using this at home. And she's just talking about how it has helped her, how it has helped her improve her confidence, how it has helped her to understand different aspect of it and use that in her day-to-day activities. So have a listen to that now. Can you give us an example on how some games from Mind Motion Go has made changes to your day-to-day activities at home?
The best one, I think, is like the climbing wall. If like it's given me confidence, and it gives me the knowledge that if I persevere at something, I'll be able to master it. And it's making me use my eyes, my planning, and my body in different ways. And it's still really hard, but I know that if I concentrate, do it really slowly, then I can actually do it.
And that is excellent to hear that. Now, can you give us an example of how some games from Mind Motion Go has made changes to your day-to-day activities outside your home?
Outside the home, oh my God, I can cross roads and go into town, and I go into town on my own now. It's just, I'm just braver. I'll try new places, different things. There's 4 of my favourite games. There's the plane game. I can just walk wherever the people are, like parks or shops, and even just the pavements. I'm not great, and I deliberately walk slow, but I'm getting better at judging, because of those balloons, I'm getting better at judging the speed and where distance of people are away. So when people are coming towards me, so I can actually move, I can actually avoid them. And that's so less scary. So I don't mind doing it. The other game which I really like is the octopus, and that plays on my thighs like the penguin one does.
There's lots
it
of
means
squatting, isn't it?
yeah. Yeah, there's something about squatting that just knackers my thighs. The other game is that welly game. Oh, I love the welly game. It's like having a punch bag at home. I can just get out all my frustrations on the day by stamping out those little
killing
monsters.
all the monsters, yeah.
Oh, it's so much fun. And I can't believe it's teaching me stuff as well. It's, oh my God, it's great. And lastly, you'll be pleased to hear is that Japanese garden game. It's like one of those games that you have to move about at Christmas and get the little balls into the holes. But I keep drowning. I used to keep drowning and just falling down the water holes. But I'm getting not really quick, but quicker at reacting to things, because I know it's going to be there. I know there's water holes. I know there's crystals, but so it's expected things, but at unexpected times. Basically, my maze is the best. My life, just basically, my life would be so different without it. It's wicked.
That's a very good, very comprehensive, like, what do you say, feedback about using Mind Maze at home and how it has changed not just things for you inside the house, but also outside, and how you have managed to think about each and every game helping you to do those activities outside in the real world. That's very interesting to hear. Thank you so much for doing this feedback, and I hope other people using Mind Maze, or probably planning to get Mind Maze, will actually think about it in a way, even just not the physical side of it, but also from the cognitive side of it, and how it might help them as well. So thank you so much, Sarah. So the next device, which I have used quite a lot during the pandemic, is a Neuroball. And Neuroball was specifically designed for patients with stroke or patients with head injury. And this is focused more around the hand and upper limb movements. So anyone with either a weak hand or a tight hand are able to use this device. And I have used with patients who have got a very weak hand, who cannot even do any movement in the shoulder or do not have any movement in the elbow, and I've used it with them. I have even used it for some patients who've got very tight hand and their hands stays around in a very stiff position, and I've done that with them as well. So it can be used for either way. In order to determine, again, what we do is we assess you when you show the interest, or when we feel that this device will be really beneficial for you and something that you could do that by yourself. We then assess your whole hand, assess what type of hand you have, what movements will be beneficial, and create an exercise plan for you on the ball. Now, when someone uses this ball, the hand movements, whatever hand movements you have got, are calibrated to the games, and the games are played within that range of motion, whatever you've got. Some people don't have any movement in the hand or their upper limb, so they can use the other hand, or even a carer can help them with these exercises. So it is quite versatile in a way, and you can use as much as assistance as you want, and eventually that can drop down. Now, as I mentioned earlier, we assess you to create an exercise plan, and then we can suggest you how many times to do this in a day, what and how long you need to do this, and all this thing is determined after that, once we assess you. And these exercises can be progressed, and I have done that in the past. Got my patients initially to do that in sitting if their balance is not great, or the hand is quite tight. And once they've done that in sitting, and once they're, or your standing balance is getting better, then we can do that in standing, and even we can do them in different positions by using different games. So it becomes quite interesting as well. And also, it just doesn't help you with your hand movement or upper limb, but it can also help you with your balance and your standing ability. um, Again, as I mentioned earlier, because these have smart games in it, it's a little bit like virtual reality. These exercises with these devices really help to motivate people, and it allows you to do a little bit more. And you might not want to do exercises just by itself, because it might sometimes be boring, but you might want to do this. And as I said earlier, this is a good way to do as an add-on to your usual therapy. And this could be done by you at home by yourself, or with a therapist remotely, or in the clinic, or even you can have your carer or someone with you when you do these exercises. Um, so I'm going to show you a couple of videos after this of there's a patient who's used Neuroball in the past, and she's talking about her experience, and I've just added another video of one of my patients using the Neuroball in standing. So I hope you like it.
The Neuroball came into my hand and my hand was in it, and here we go with the games and everything to make my hand. At first it wouldn't go at all, left or right or middle or up. Practice makes it easier, I guess, but they left the ball with me eventually, and I was able to do it. So practicing with my son and daughters keeping an eye on me to make sure I was doing it, it helped. I was gradually moving my hand left, right, but it wouldn't go up. My wrist was quite swollen at that time, so I couldn't do it. But eventually with practice, I did manage to do it. And that was the straight level goal. I am today to tell the story that Neuroball has made my movements a lot more easier, a lot more faster. I can do my wrist up and down, I can bend it and forward it, sideways, up and down. and it's been wonderful. Thanks to you, Neuroball. Today I am, where I can lift my hand up to this level, to take it to the mouth and up to my little bit of head and cheek. So I'm extremely grateful to Neurophoenix for giving me the chance of playing this game and using this ball. I thank you very much from the bottom of my heart for giving me the chance to do something which I never thought would have been possible to do. Thank you.
Your hand is in a good position and I can tell you that by seeing the light. Did you get hit?
Yeah, afraid I did.
Right. So I hope you all enjoyed watching this little presentation about the use of technology in rehabilitation, with the main focus on some virtual reality devices like MindMotion Go and Neuroball. And if you've got any questions, you can please feel free to ask me or contact Different Strokes for that. And thank you very much.